Happy Purim, Chag Purim Sameach. Today we celebrate Purim. It's a time of joy and celebration, and most importantly, a time of remembering God's faithfulness. Purim isn't just about dressing up or giving gifts or making noise with groggers or eating cookies. Every Purim we read the whole scroll, the whole Megillah of Esther, to remember how in the darkest moments, in the very moments when God seemed most distant, most silent, he is still at work behind the scenes to deliver his people in the most unexpected way. Have you ever felt like God's nowhere to be found, like he's just silent, that he's absent? You pray, but it seems like your words are bouncing off the ceiling. You look around at the chaos or the uncertainty in your life, the struggles that you're dealing with, and you think, Lord, where are you? Just because you don't see him doesn't mean he's not working. Do you know the name of the Lord is not mentioned in the entire scroll of Esther? Not once. It's the only book of the Bible where his name is absent, and yet his presence is unmistakable. Every twist, every coincidence, every moment was woven together by his unseen hand. Purim is an annual reminder to keep trusting God even when he seems silent. You think about Esther and Mordecai's situation. God's people are in exile. They're not in their homeland. They're not in control. And now a man named Haman wants to wipe them out completely. Where is the Lord in the midst of this? Why isn't he showing up with the miracles like he did in Egypt? But he was working through ordinary people, through little moments that didn't seem like much at the time. A king's sleepless night, a conversation at just the right moment, a position that seemed like coincidence but was actually divine placement. God was orchestrating everything. Listen, in your life, God is writing a story bigger than you can see. Just because you don't hear his voice doesn't mean he isn't speaking through the circumstances. Trust him. Every year, Purim reminds us to stay faithful, to seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, pursue his purposes, and wait for him, trust him to handle the rest. Mordecai saved the king's life. He got no recognition. He wasn't looking for honor. He was just doing the right thing, seeking God's purposes. He didn't demand a reward. But at the perfect time, God brought everything full circle. The very man who wanted Mordecai dead ended up leading a parade to honor Mordecai. Well, maybe you feel unseen or you feel like the things you do for the Lord don't matter. The Lord reminds us, he says, seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and he'll take care of the rest of these things. All these things will be added to you. The Lord knows what he's doing. Your faithfulness isn't wasted, ever. Purim also reminds us every year that you're in this place, in this time, in this moment for a purpose. So step into it. When Esther hesitated to act, Mordecai didn't beg her. He simply told her the truth. He said, look, if you remain silent at this time, well, relief and deliverance for the Jews is going to come from another place. But who knows? Maybe you were put in this position for such a time as this. Right? God's purposes are going to be accomplished. His plan is going to happen. The question is, will you be a part of it? Will you have the courage to step up even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's risky? Esther didn't rush in recklessly. She used wisdom. She prayed. She fasted. But when the moment came, she stepped up. And you're not where you are by accident. You're here on purpose, for a purpose. Your gifts, your experiences, your story, it's all part of something bigger than you. Are you willing to say yes to God's purpose for you, even when you don't see him at work, even when it costs you something, even when it's inconvenient? The world is full of hurting, lost people. Like Esther's people were facing destruction, but God has placed you here for such a time as this. So today, know that he is here. He's at work. He's called you to walk in his righteousness, to seek his kingdom, and to walk in the purposes he has for you. Chag Sameach.